Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome back to another episode of the Encouraging Woman She Speaks podcast, episode 7.
Good evening.
I am your host, Ashley D, followed by my co-host, Dr. Storm.
Thank you.
We just love it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Today's Tuesday. I feel like we've been going for a minute, y'all.
It has. It really feel like it. Well,
just 2 weeks. We need a little breather. I mean, I think it really helped us just taking a moment to regroup, get things in order, just to continue giving out some great information to you guys. I know our last episode was just like, ooh.
Your cup was filled, full,
overflow all day. So I think that one was just like one that we all needed, and you could just replay it as much as possible. I mean, for all of our episodes, it's such an exciting time, and I'm just like, man, we already hit episode 7.
You know, 7 is completion.
You know, that's my line number, right? Don't start with me.
Here we go.
Come on now, lucky number 7, straight out of heaven.
Well, when we get to sweet 16.
Yeah, so 7. We're at 7. So just before we get started, guys, we wanted to kind of give some of our announcements for today. We love to kind of do this in the beginning. Now, first of all, thank you for supporting us. Please be sure to like, comment, and share this actual podcast for tonight. We have some great information for you guys, so please be sure to do so. So we're doing it like the church, y'all. We got some announcements. So the announcements that we have, Red Learning Academy.
Well, you know, it is our second gala coming up, and Ashley D is the keynote speaker. Tickets are on sale at www.redlearning.org.
Yes.
Make sure you purchase your tickets. I know it's Mother's Day weekend, but listen, it's going to be a perfect night to roll into Mother's Day. And we're super excited. It's still time to purchase your tickets. Come on out and have a good time with us. I know Ashley D is going to bring the word.
I'm bringing it.
I'm ready.
Man, listen.
I'm ready.
Like the old folks say, let the Lord use you.
Let the church say amen.
Amen. So that's one of our very first announcements. We do have with our chapter, North Broward County Alumni Chapter, we have the Delta Dolls event coming up May 6th, Friday, May 6th at 7 p.m. I did share it on all of my platforms, actually. So at Delta Dolls, the actual pageant is such a great time. You bring your little ones, have them dress up. It's the sneaker ball. Listen,
I'm ready.
I gotta pull the J's out for this one.
I'm just ready to have my good shoes on.
Tickets are $30.
I'm gonna leave them up too.
Please do, because I'm bringing up. I think I like the tutu with this J's. Come on. So we want you guys to definitely come out and support on the North Broward County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Tickets are $30. They can be purchased on Eventbrite. We also have it listed on our website, nbcacdst.org. So what else we got? What else we got coming up?
We have summer camp. I know I'm talking to my parents now.
Yes.
So Red Learning is in partnership with Mega School of Music, and we are actually hosting our summer camp starting the very week after school. So Dr. McCullough not getting a break.
You're not.
But I'm super excited.
It's gonna be good.
With the partnership with the Mega School of Music by our famous Mark McClary. I always say he's a celebrity. Yes. So we're doing a summer camp this summer. And listen, I always said that it's the summer, but we're putting in some academics in it. And it's going to offer Listen, I got my notes. Music.
What else you got?
Learning through chorus, dance, drums, strings, keyboard, guitar. Mr. McClary is bringing it all, followed by a musical showcase. So we're super excited. That information is going to drop tomorrow. As of now, application is free. Yes, free 99.
Free 99. Give it to them.
And it is a full summer camp. Hours is 7:30 a.m. drop off to 6 p.m. pickup Monday through Friday. Field trip every Friday. If you have any questions,
can I go?
No. Inbox me. It is K through 8th grade only.
K through 8. Okay.
K through 8th grade only. But more information will be on my Facebook page, the school website, the same website you will go to buy your Kindle ticket.
Come on, y'all. Come on. We need y'all in the building.
Spaces are limited, so please, guys, if you are definitely interested, do not miss this opportunity.
Absolutely.
To sign up, and we're gonna put some sports in it too.
I like it.
All around.
We have to have sports because the kids love
Take
sports.
care of my babies.
Speaking of sports, we have 2 more announcements, guys. Teen Summit 2024 with the Fort Lauderdale Black Police Officers Association. We have the flyers ready to go. Registration is currently available to you guys. The website to register your team for this event that is scheduled on July the 12th, 2024 at Stranahan High School in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, you know that's my
Y'all, she a dragon.
Yes, I am. Home of the dragons.
So, and then registration is at www.flbpoa.org. So please register your kids. We have some great, we have seminars happening throughout the day featuring, hopefully we get Hassan on there. I can't remember if we confirmed that as of yet, but we would love to have him on, of course, have him with our kids. We had him last year. He did a great, amazing presentation for our students about literacy. So we will also have the 3-on-3. I don't know if y'all can see it, 3-on-3 basketball tournament going on. And I heard each kid is probably gonna get 150 if their team is the winning team. So y'all ain't hear from me. So that's one last thing about sports. The theme is actually respect my existence, empowering youth voices. Yes. So we're bridging the gap. Yes, we're bridging the gap with law enforcement and students. So please be sure to have your team to register. They do receive community service hours. And the very last thing, you guys wanted to know about Monopoly? And we got it.
Yes. With Dr. Stevens.
With Dr. Stevens. So the website right now, she's doing registration. Just so you guys are aware, the website is mystevensgroup.com.
Yes.
M-Y Stevens, STEPHENS.org, mystevensgroup.com. You can register now. Click on the link where it states, click here to register. You'll see Monopoly. Don't click on the live one. Click on the regular one. The second tab. $40. Just $40. I know the dates may be a little off, but you guys will be starting your cohort 5 in June. So that information will be forthcoming as far as the exact dates. So please go ahead and register now. She is accepting registration. Just know she's aware that the dates are a little off, but she'll fix and rectify that. And the actual start date will be announced within a week. All right, I think listen. We're giving the community a lot of information, y'all.
just grab it. I always say I like to sit at the table of fruit.
Yeah.
This is nothing but some good mangoes.
Listen,
pineapple with tahini seasoning on it.
Put a little smoothie on the side. So we want to give you guys some great information. There's a lot of things we're doing in the community as well as our organizations that we're part of. So please be sure to sign up, register your children. But what we want to talk about today, y'all, we're going to talk about finances. Today, this month is, listen, we know we love money. So Financial Literacy Month is happening right now. And I thought about it. Dr. Storm and I thought about it. We were like, who is the man with the plan man. He speaks.
With the master plan. I was reading his book and I was like, oh.
I'm telling you, listen, let me tell y'all about this guy. This wonderful man of God that I love dearly as my own little brother. I always tell him that. We always say that. Listen, author, mentor, public speaker, keynote speaker. Stop playing with Mr. Hassan.
Wait, is this name in the Bible?
I think Hassan is in the Bible. I know I'm gonna ask him as soon as he get on. So we have one of our great friends who I really adore a lot. I mean, anytime I have anything going on with my students, I'm like, Hassan, can you come talk? Sure, big sis, I got you. What you need? And I just love that. I love the genuineness. I love his spirit. I love everything about him. I think that he's like, you know how they say the next generation taking over? It's Hassan for me. Like,
Roger that.
He's taking over. So he's going to talk with us now about his journey to financial freedom and just life journeys, period, as a man, a Black man.
You know what? I have to point this out. Yeah. I'm going to allow him to go deep inside and speak about his journey, his story.
Yeah.
But as I hold, you know, I love tangible things.
We love it.
And as I was reading a lot of the chapters in the book, what stood out the most is that it's #1 on Amazon.
Come on, Hassan.
And the Bible says the lack of knowledge, you shall perish.
That's what the Bible says.
I'm gonna leave it as that.
Come on.
But
we got it. Hassan, we got it, y'all. Without further ado, we're gonna bring on my little brother, Mr. Hassan Thomas.
Come on, Arthur.
What's good? What's good? Hey, y'all already know we got it in the background. We got it on us. You know, we here.
Oh, man, Hassan, I'm so glad to see you, man. Every time I see Hassan, we're just like, let's go.
Yeah, we lit. You know, two like-minded individuals coming together.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, like I connected with him through another mutual friend, right? And from there, it was like we've been locked in. I'm like, Hassan, I want to do what you do. Like, listen, nothing but God, I promise you. I'm like, Hassan, how you do? Like, look, big sis, you can do it. I'm like, man, I look at him, I'm just like, I admire him so much. Like, you know, usually it's the big sister, you know, with a little brother looking up. And it's like, I feel like it's the opposite, but we're both doing it together. And I just 100%. Love that. Like, he was really the person, Dr. Storm, that I was like, man, I said, Dr. Storm, I got a friend that got his own podcast and he a male. She's like, what?
Hey, if I could do it, you could do it. So you took it and ran with
it. So, Hassan, just tell us all about, we want to know, my people on our platform want to know, who is Mr. Hassan Thomas?
For sure. So I'll give y'all my little background story, and then we can get into talking about the gems, the money making, the value creation, because that's all what I'm about, is providing value. So going back to 2019, it was the 5th week of the season. I was a football player at Maryville College in Tennessee. So I don't know if y'all can tell by this little small ring on my neck, you know.
I think you probably need to bring it a little closer.
Yeah, I don't know. You can see it's a little small. But I was a football player in Tennessee for Maryville College. And as I was saying, the 5th week of the season, coach told me, he was like, Hassan, you've been doing your thing in practice. And if you ball this 5th week, it's going to be your time to start against our rival Huntington College, a school in Alabama. So it was 5th week of the season. Monday comes, practice comes. Coach is like, Hassan, you in with the starters, you up. So I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, it's my time. It's my time to shine.
Ready.
So I get in my running back stance. I get in my stance. I get the ball. Boom. Now I'm running. I'm running. And then one of the defensive people, they wrap me up, and they're just holding me up because they don't want to take me down and injure me because the game is on Saturday. So they were trying to preserve me. And while I'm being held up like this, there is another teammate who's blocking somebody to the ground. But the thing is, there was something in between the ground and that teammate. That something was my knee. So you got to keep in mind, I'm being held up like this, and I'm standing straight up, and they're going down to my knee like that. 2 people, 250, 300 pounders, going down to my knee. Boom, tore my meniscus right there.
Wow.
Senior year, football career over with, done just like that. So for me, as you know, as y'all can already tell a little bit, I'm a very energetic and passionate person. So I knew I had to put my energy and my passion into something else. And what that was financial literacy. So I was writing my senior thesis, which is a senior research paper over financial literacy. And I'm telling everybody like, hey, I'm finna write this research paper, then turn it into a book. And everybody's like, that's cool. But my cousin, he was like, I think you should start a podcast. And I was like, a podcast.
Wow.
So this was 2019, September. I did nothing but research. I ended up having my surgery in December 2019. So about 4 months later, And then when I came back from my spring semester 2020, came back from my spring semester of my senior year, I'm crutching. Yeah. I'm on crutches. I'm going to meet with different advisors, different teachers, talking to them about my financial literacy resources that I've just created. So I'm going to meeting with all these different advisors, and I end up getting a meeting with the dean of my school for March 3rd of 2020. Okay. Had that meeting with the dean, rocked it, and that really what gave me the confidence to go ahead and start that podcast. But if y'all remember 2020, March, middle of March, that's when COVID hit. So all that momentum that I was having, kind of got halted by COVID. There was a lot of different things going on. So I didn't end up starting my podcast until August of 2020. Started the podcast. Now we're looking at 50,000 plus downloads. We've been listened to in 50 plus countries. And just last year, we won Podcast of the Year at the Southern Entertainment Award.
Yes! Oh my gosh, Hassan, that is amazing.
So what you saying? We sitting among celebrities.
Hey, we working. Y'all want to look like celebrity with this orange on. I need to catch up to y'all with the best tech producer in the world. Like, come on.
No, in the United States of America.
So we're trying to be like you, bro. I promise you, we're trying to get on your level.
No, I'm telling you. So it was just an amazing journey. I took the podcast, and then as you see, wrote 2 books. This is actually my second book. From college to COVID to recession. Yeah. And then I used the lessons, the experience that I learned from starting that podcast. Now we're on episode 120 this week. Wow. 2 books. And then I started using that knowledge and that value to then start speaking to high school and college students nationwide. So over these last 4 years, it's been, just progression. And I'm happy to be here and share all the lessons, the value, and everything that I learned so y'all can do the same and become the most valuable person that you can. That's what I'm all about.
That's awesome, man. Awesome.
One thing I love about Hassan is, like, for the time I met him, he was like not one. You know how sometimes they don't want to share the information with you and how do you get to that level or how do you grow your brand and everything. And he's just always been like, hey, sis, this is what you got to do. This is how you do this, like, every single time. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm like, I know you're busy, bro, but can you tell me how to do this? And he's always just like,
so sharing the knowledge.
So open to it. And that's what I feel. I feel like that is what helps our community just continue to grow. Right. It's so amazing. And I was talking to one of my girlfriends today, and we were just like, why is that even women, sometimes they don't want to support another woman and what they're doing? I'm like, man, what you need, you can come on a podcast, we can talk about it, we can discuss whatever it is you want to talk about, because I feel that it's our mission to get information out. It's our mission to kind of share what God is placing in our lives to our audience. Right. So, I mean, Hassan, you're doing it, man. Like,
I appreciate it.
That's awesome. When you talked about how you went on the football field and you was ready, I remember a lot of years ago when I graduated and I was playing basketball. And my first game, I tore my Achilles tendon, fractured my Achilles tendon. First game, and I didn't have the college experience of playing basketball, and I kind of turned that little hate into my passion because I just knew I was going to the WNBA. I was going to know Lisa Leslie.
Facts.
And so I slept with Spalding. Spalding is a basketball player.
That ain't no man.
Let's be clear. So for you to turn your pain into your passion, I definitely that speaks very highly of you, and I you can see it.
I'm telling you,
best author. That's just amazing.
Yeah. I appreciate it, and that number one best author. So this is gonna be let's get into the gym. So already, I want to tell y'all. Whenever y'all are releasing something, whenever y'all are about to, release a new podcast, release a new clothing brand, do it on your birthday. Release it on your birthday. So
we can't secret, but okay.
We listening.
So I actually, for my 25th birthday, my 25th birthday last year, I went on a cruise, and just the day before I released the book. When I was on the cruise, I woke up the next morning. We're on sea. We don't have Wi-Fi, but I paid for the Wi-Fi, so I checked my phone just to see if it was working. I open my phone and go to Amazon. There is now a label on my book that says #1 new release on Amazon for teen and economic finance. I said, hold on,
Wow.
that wasn't there last time. I'm telling you, I'm screenshotting. Like, hey, just in case this thing goes so well, I got the proof. So releasing it on your birthday, that's when people love you a little bit more. So whenever y'all got something that y'all need to release, do it on your birthday.
I like it. Listen, hey, bro, I kid you not. I'm working on something. I told Dr. Storm, I'm like, boy, June 15th is going down. And she's like, yep, that's my birthday.
So it's nothing but confirmation.
That was definitely confirmation. Hassan,
you know we locked in. Come on.
You already know.
So let me ask you a question, because it's a lot of gems in your book. And I think, financial literacy is my background. Mm-hmm. I have my passion ended me up in education, but I went to school for finance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to just see a lot of your gems in your book, when it talks about the recession, it talks about just how to make money during the economy downfall.
Yeah.
You pushed out during COVID. And I remember during that time when I first started the school, it was during COVID. And we went, it was like a tutoring that kind of turned into the school, but a lot of people allowed COVID to be such a negative because there's a lot going on during that time. Don't get me wrong. But to actually push something that now becomes your best work, let's talk about it.
100%. So honestly, at that time, I knew I had some type of motivation to get it done, some extra motivation, because in my head, I'm like, I don't know how long COVID gonna be around. So if I don't get this book out during COVID, it's not gonna be relevant anymore. So I was like, I gotta grind, gotta get this book out. And literally, I just made a plan and made a play. So that's literally what it was. I sat down. I actually used for the first book, From College to COVID, 24 Lessons Learned During the Lockdown, which is the first book. I used 19 lessons from my podcast guests. And then I put 5 lessons of my own. So for anybody listening, if you have a certain field, a certain industry where you want to become an expert, start a podcast like Ashley and Dr. Storm. Start a podcast like myself and interview experts in that field, because you got to think about it. If I didn't have this podcast to provide value to others, I would have to be reaching out to guests and try to pick their brain and have to pay for a 1-hour consultation. But since I have a podcast, I'm able to reach out and say, hey, can you be a guest on my podcast? You get more exposure, you get more potential customers, but they're coming on my podcast for free and giving out great and experienced game to my audience. So for everybody listening, if you want to become an expert in your field, if you want to be top category of your field, what you need to do is start that podcast, because now you're going to be able to network with people and not have to pay them.
Listen, Hassan, I know this, and I feel that a lot of times when it comes to our podcast and what we're doing, it helps open doors for bigger stages that you're trying to be on. And it's like you're not even doing it intentionally, and people see you and they're just gravitating towards you. I kid you not, the last gigs I pretty much booked, they saw my podcast and they're just like, oh wow, she actually
she got all that stored up in there.
She got a lot stored up in her. She does have so much to provide and give. So even for you, like, I check your story and I'm like, this man all the way in California again. Like, you're gone and you're booked and busy, and that literally is what helps open the door as an entrepreneur even further. And I mean, I'm thankful for Dr. Storm, because had she not said, Ashley, you're going to be the keynote speaker, I would not have been with pushing the encouraging woman. So I'm telling you, I tell her thank you every day, like every day, because I just get, you get to the point where you get so exhausted. But like you said, you're creating a plan. You created a plan on how you want to push that book out. And that's how you're at where you're at today, So, and I think about even when you were in college, like, I'm sure you probably weren't thinking about, like, the latter end in terms of what was going to happen if you got this injury. And that helped push you even further to doing what you're doing now. Like, you came to talk to my kids at the school, and they're like, they learned so much from you. he had this whole PowerPoint presentation about financial literacy, finances in terms of your credit. Like my kids were like, they knew what he was talking about.
And they was engaging. That's the thing. They were engaging.
Because their attention span about a millisecond.
Yes.
It's not even them. It's everybody.
Yeah.
So everybody you gotta bring it to their level, and then you also have to more of talk with them, not at Correct. I was literally just in their position 4 years ago. So I remember what it feels like to be talked at and be lectured to. I remember what that feels like. So when I'm teaching, when I'm speaking, one, I heard somebody say, and this will be great for your keynote, Ashley. Whenever you're speaking, it's a big conversation with a lot of people. It's not you're preaching. It's not a big lecture. It's one big conversation with a lot of people. So when I heard that on a YouTube video, I'm like, oh, wow. I just need to make it one big conversational piece where everybody feels like they're involved instead of me just talking at them or preaching at them or lecturing them. So I think that's where, for any educators on here, any people trying to reach the younger generation, make it engaging, engage them, ask them questions, get them involved, because that's where they'll really respond. And even just a couple weeks ago at Winston-Salem State University in North Carolina, the lady who brought me out there, she was like, Hassan, I'm not gonna lie to you. My students cannot sit for a 60-minute keynote. And I'm like, all right, I can't either. So that's cool. so what I did, exactly. So what I did was I did a 30-minute keynote, and then I did a live podcast with the students.
Nice. Oh, that's so cool.
So they felt educated and famous at the same time.
Exactly. I was just about to say that they felt educated and famous. They were up there on the stage with me. They felt like stars. And what I did was, so I gave them 11 questions. I said, put your initials by the question that you feel most comfortable answering. So whenever they got on stage with me, and I broke them up into 3 groups, whenever the certain group got on stage with me, they felt super confident, super comfortable because they already knew the question. And they got on there and they were rocking out confidently, punching, dropping gems. I'm like, oh. And what dude, I was like, I said, I think I done found me a new co-host.
What you say, baby? Come on.
Got a lot of them.
I'm telling you.
That is so good. So Hassan, we want to touch a little bit about when we say managing and making money. We want to touch on a little bit when it comes to the importance of like having streams of income. Can you tell us? I mean, one thing I've realized, like the past year, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, especially after doing Monopoly with one of our mentors. So I started kind of tapping in when it comes to the streams of income, like rather if it's vending machines or creating a book, that residual income. Can you tell us a little bit about that, like for you and what you've been working on? You have the book going, anything else that really you can say, you know what, this is it. Like, I mean, we already kind of touched on a little bit in terms of the hosting aspect or a keynote speaker, because that's money right there. People have no idea. You get paid to do that.
Hundreds of dollars.
And it takes time. And I'll definitely get to like the the money, making the money, side hustles and stuff. But I do want to say, y'all are hearing these things and y'all are seeing me 4 years into the game. Y'all are not seeing 2020, 2021, where I'm doing free volunteer work, when my only speaking engagements is an online thing that I signed up for and had to pay for. I had to pay to speak. So just keep in mind, it doesn't happen overnight. It's going to be a continuous grind. It's going to be progression, like compounded interest. For example, we talk about money, compounded interest. When you have money over time and you keep allowing that money to stack up, that's when your money starts compounding and appreciating much faster. So it's the same thing with your efforts. I like to call it compounding efforts. So you're doing something and you're building on it, and then one day it's just and now it's rocking, now it's rolling, now it's rocking and rolling. So that's what y'all seeing. Y'all seeing that right now, but y'all didn't see 2020, 2021, 2022 Hassan, who didn't have no paid speaking engagement, who didn't have podcast of the year, And I was telling you talked about the friends and the family that sometimes don't support you. I be telling them, like, if y'all was supporting before, I probably could have got it a year. I could have got podcast of the year last year. You know what I'm saying?
About the journey.
Yep.
It's all about the journey.
I'm telling you. So just stay locked in. It's gonna happen for you.
Yeah.
Like I said a little earlier, you make that plan and then you make that play and go out and execute. That's how simple it can be. But as we're talking about, making money, I think you have to look at what God has given you naturally.
Yes.
What has He made you naturally good at that you're a little bit better than, your peers and the people around you? Like, for example, if you have a 650 credit score, you are valuable to every single person who has a 649 credit score and below.
That's
now, the best credit score you can get is an 850. So you won't be able to help people who have a higher credit score than you, but you're the person at 650. So, and I'm trying to get this so y'all can see. So just because you're not the expert in your field, if you're like middle, you can help every single person that is below you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So y'all don't have to feel like y'all have to go back. If you want to go back to school, go ahead and do that. But you don't have to feel like you got to go back to school and get your degree and get all this extra stuff. If you have the experience and you're confident about it, and that's also something else. Like, I'll be seeing other people do stuff and it don't be better than me. So I'll be like, if they got the confidence to do it, I know I'm not gonna be worse than them. so I'm gonna go do it.
I just love your confidence.
I tell you.
Because you know what? You gotta bet on yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't bet on yourself, you can't expect nobody else to do it. Yeah. But I love it because it's almost like I'm seeing myself, because you know, I don't know if you know the Lil Wayne song that talks about the different seasons. When he say he hotter than the sun, he hotter than the 4 seasons.
Yeah.
It's almost like behind doors, you gotta hype yourself up.
You have to. Y'all can see on if you watch the show with Issa Rae and she just talks to herself in the mirror, she hype. That's me all day.
Affirmation. Come on.
If I don't hype myself up, who else gonna do it?
I literally have a reminder in my phone that says "Trust your work, Hassan."
Yeah.
It goes off at 12 a.m., 12 midnight every single night. Trust your work. So whenever I get nervous about doing something or nervous about a speaking engagement, that reminder comes up. Oh, I've done this before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Trust my work. Trust my work. But I want to make sure that I give them some of those gems as far as like making money. So I think the point where I was going with that was, you can literally nowadays, it is an education economy. People want to be educated. So you literally make an online course, e-product, online product around what you're good and what you're talented about. So
I agree.
Why this works? Because think about it. People have to, if they don't purchase your course, they're going to have to get on YouTube. They're going to have to get on Google and watch 15 videos, read 15 different articles just to try to piece together where they want to go. Everything. But if you're like, let's just use something easy, for example, like knitting or sewing. If you're great at knitting and you put together a course on how to knit, and people are able to watch that course, and by the end of that course, the end of that 2-hour course, they know how to knit. That is a huge value to them, instead of them spending 10 hours on YouTube and Google and doing all this and having to piece different things together. So it's kind of streamlined their time. So I think that's one great way that you can start right now to make some additional income. You create the course once. And you can sell it over and over and over again.
Yeah, copyright.
I agree. And the thing is, it's so amazing. I recently purchased a course where how you learn how to do makeup. And she's like charging like $50 just to learn how to do makeup, right? And you think about how many people purchase that. That's your money right there. She's literally sleeping and still making money just doing off that one recording.
Residual.
Come on now.
Come on, that pajama money.
I'm telling you. And get even better with it is, once you buy their course, you can look at what platform they're using, and you use that for yourself. And like you say, like a lot of information is on YouTube.
Yes, it is.
But it's even better when you have someone who already created a whole platform for you to look at. And we are in that season of where everybody wants to learn something. Like I'm always like, dang, it's like all of a sudden when you start searching one thing on Facebook, then all of a sudden it pops up for everybody. I'm like, public speaking, job coaching, what? Like I just looked this up and all of a sudden, but that's how the algorithm works and how it comes to making the money with the residual money. So it just makes sense.
It does. It does.
Yeah, so I think that's one great way for them.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful thing because a lot of this stuff you really don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's a lot of information that's already out there. That you can really just make it your own. And when we think about YouTube, when we think about just the internet in general, see, we different age groups, so we didn't have as much resources available and as of now. And that's the reason why I believe that the babies that's coming up now, they're the most smartest because they have all of this information. So we ain't gonna talk about the other side, but they're millionaires in middle and high school ages. Because if they do the research, I always tell the students, you're very innovative. It's a lot of research. Just get it done.
Our kids actually design. They do a lot of our designing too, believe it or not. And I'm like, you know how to do it in high school? Like you can do your own publishing company or even your own print company. And it's amazing. Like this generation, I'm telling you, they're the biggest generation of entrepreneurs that are coming out. Like my kids have already like social media accounts. They're doing hair. They're entrepreneurs. They're doing photography. Everything.
Wow.
I fully promote it. I have a third grader that is an entrepreneur. She has her own business by the name of Lum Pop, and she actually sells book bags and she give away book bags. She's an author.
Too cool.
She has a coloring book. I mean, listen, one of my mentors always said, keep somebody young on your team. And now as I get older, I realize that because one of my students, everything that's on social media, Antonio put it together. I say, you know what? Go ahead and drop that and make sure you get the capture. Because that's and he put the together.
And those skills pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? Like learning those specific skills like photography, videography. Everybody nowadays want to be a content creator, but somebody's gonna have to edit their videos. Somebody's gonna have to take their pictures. So you are valuable in that sense. One of my friends, he's a photographer, he's a tattoo artist, and he's a barber. He is all three of those things, and we need all three of those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, so make yourself valuable in this world. And that's kind of the biggest lesson that I learned is to provide value. And
provide a solution.
Yes, you have to be able to provide value to people because I believe that people are our biggest assets. And what I've realized is business doesn't do business. People do business.
That's right.
And they strive to do business with people they like and with people who are going to be at the top category, their top field, that top expert in their industry. So that's why I believe it's so important that you become valuable because you talk about, being a podcaster, being a content creator, being a speaker. The people in those industries who make the real bucks, who make what's behind me right here, the real money, they are the top 5 and top 10 percenters of that field. Kind of just like even with football or a different sport, only the top 2 percenters are going to make it to the pros. And those pros are going to get paid for their value, for their experience. So you can take that into any field that you're in. You strive to become that top 10 percenter, that top 5 percenter. You were even if you a jazz player, if you play the ukulele, if you the number 1 in Florida, I promise you're gonna get booked up.
I'm telling you, it's so true. It is so true. Like, of course, your talent is gonna make room for your finances. Like everything that you're doing. I look at everything that Dr. Storm and myself we're working on. I'm just like, man. A lot of times, Hassan, have you really doubted yourself and your ability and what you're doing? When it comes to your platform, do you ever feel like, nah, I can't do it? Like, do you ever get in your head sometimes?
I just want to hear this answer because I know this Mr. Confident.
Listen.
Yeah. So, and that goes back to what I said earlier. when I see people who are out there doing it, and I feel like I'm better than them, I'm gonna go do it because I don't feel like they're better than me. So, so if you see some,
so
like,
where does the confidence come from?
Being honest, my mom,
Yeah.
every
you know, every your mamas.
every single time in elementary school, somebody make fun of me, somebody talk about me, my mama turn me right back up. I'm telling you, I get home, mama, they talked about my eyes, they talked about this. Oh, son, they just hating on you. You look good. Look at yourself. Look at it. Look at you look good. You look. You know?
Right.
So mama always.
Her.
Yes. You gotta have somebody in your field, and if you don't have somebody, like we talked about, you gotta be your biggest cheerleader. You gotta be your biggest, set them affirmations for yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. If you don't take yourself serious, nobody else will. And I got a quick story about this. So I was at FMU. I was at the Black Wealth Summit not too long ago, Florida Memorial, and I was there introducing myself to people. Hassan Thomas, public speaker, financial literacy author, this and that. Right. Oh, okay, cool. All right, nice to meet you. It was real dry. It was real dry.
Right.
And then I changed something up. I started walking up to people. Hassan Thomas, the #1 financial literacy speaker for the youth. Oh,
come on now.
Oh my God! How can we work together? How can we do this? So saying that to say,
just the title, right?
Title change makes a difference.
The perception is reality. That's what it is. People judge you. Unfortunately, it's not cool, true. But it's the truth. People gonna judge you in that first 3 seconds of you talking to them. So literally, like you said, Ashley, just that slight title change. Now people want to interact. Now people want to know who I am. So, and it wasn't me saying it from a position of cockiness or arrogance. Yeah. It's a position of, over these last 4 years, I've really done over 100 financial workshops. I've really interviewed over 100 people. I've really released 2 books on the same topic, financial education. Yeah. So now I have the confidence to go out and look somebody in their eyes and tell them, I'm really the #1 financial literacy speaker for the youth, Hassan Thomas. How you doing? You know?
I concur with you, because even for me, this young face that looks like about 18, 20. Right. And when I have certain visitors that come to the school, it's almost like, hey, may I speak to the principal?
I've seen it myself.
And I'm like, sure, how may I help you? And they said, we're looking for the principal. Mind you, I'm suited up now. You see, I'm clean.
What's up?
How may I help you? Well, I'm looking for my name is Dr. McCullough. How may I help you? Well, you look pretty young. I am.
I see it for myself. I pop up at the school and I'm listening to the parents. I be dying laughing. They're like, oh, I see Dr. McCullough. And I'm like, that's Dr. McCullough. Hi, But you know what? I use it when it's needed. Yeah. And it's interesting that you say that, because the perception of the world, people do treat you differently when you have different titles and different accomplishments. And it's interesting because Ashley tells me all the time, I'm like such in a box where I just want to do the work. That's it.
I don't look for any titles. Unless you know me, I will tell you my name is Storm.
Yeah.
And when I need to use it, I'm like, oh no, it's Dr. Storm to you. And then one person was like, oh, well, where do you get your degree from? Nova Southeastern University.
Come on.
Sharp.
Thank you.
Come on.
You said go fly by a degree, honey. Listen, I had to work for this.
Exactly.
Al content. What's the app that create everything for you?
Oh, the FG. What's it called?
I don't know what it is. They had to work.
Yeah.
But a Chat GPT.
Chat GPT. I just learned about that, Hassan. I can do contracts to that and everything.
Oh, you just learned about Chat GPT? Oh no.
I ain't learned about it. I'm so behind. I'm like the Stone Age.
I'm old school. I had to write my thesis.
Exactly.
And I had to class. And Nova wasn't playing with me.
Exactly. So you put in that work, and now you feel that you're able to say what you worked for. And it's like I said, it's not a cockiness, it's not an arrogance. You really went through it. And like there's something called imposter syndrome, where people don't feel like they deserve to be where you're at. Well, if you work so hard to become and reinvent yourself to be that person that you've always wanted to be,
right,
then you're that. Right. Can't nobody take that away from you. Can't nobody take that work that you've done. So you are that. And you need to go around and tell people that. What are you about to say?
I tell the kids that all the time. I'm like, you work hard for those degrees. You work hard for where you're at with your businesses. So no one can take that from you. I always encourage them and tell them that. And it's so amazing when I hosted the event the other week. And they were like, oh, Ashley D is hosting. And it was like, some were like, who is Ashley D? They read that bio and it was a wrap.
Yeah.
When they heard those titles, they were like, oh, this lady is a storm. She can't be reckoned with. No. That master's, I work hard for that.
And you know what? It's interesting because we're growing. The world is turning more into, you know, they don't see the significance of a lot of degrees. And I get it because if I probably could do things over a little bit, I probably would have went in real estate. Yeah. And then from there, I would have made a name for myself. Yeah. But when you have certain titles, certain accomplishments, it does put you in a separate bracket. Correct. Also a separate tax bracket. And I always say, you know, people don't see the work behind the scenes. You just see the fruit of the labor, right? But when you have a level of cockiness, I always say, listen, I've been driving the same car for over about 14 years. It's painful. Yeah. And it's painful. Trust me, I'm attached to it like a child. But baby, when I show up in my Range Rover, don't have nothing to say about it because you don't know what I had to do to get there or what I made to sacrifice for it. Because I work hard day in and day out. Correct. So when you think about financial literacy, I am all over this topic because my goal is to teach the youth about becoming producers. Because in our culture, we spend $1 billion a year.
Consumers, yes.
Consumers. Yeah. That's what we've been for the longest.
So how do we change that? And let's talk about it. How do you change the trajectory of being such a consumer versus being that producer? Being that 10%.
I like it. I think it's mindset.
Great.
What you think, Hassan? I think it's mindset.
I agree. I think it's mindset as well, but it's also knowing that, you know, if we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty, is knowing that by being an owner, that's the way that you change things. Not just consuming, but being an owner. So whenever I talk to the students about like stock investing, I let them know, hey, there's 2 investments that I've done that has made me an owner of every single stock in the United States and outside of the United States. So my first 2 investments, my first 2 investments was individual stocks, and those didn't do too well. But I learned from that that I needed to be investing into groups of stocks. So if you're listening to this, groups of stocks are called ETFs. ETFs. And I invested into, so this is not financial advice. I'm going to tell y'all what I invested to, and if you want, I'm going to tell y'all why. Yep, gotta make that disclaimer. So like I said, I'm going to tell y'all what I've invested to and tell you why. And if you feel like it's a good idea, do you. But I'm not forcing you to do nothing. Right. So I looked at 2 ETFs. Like I said, there's a group of stocks. And there was an ETF called VTX. And then it was called, VTI. And then VXUS. So that first one, VTI, is every single public traded company in the United States. Okay. Every single public traded company in the United States is covered in the ETF group of stocks, VTI. Now in VXUS, every single public traded company outside of the US is covered in that ETF, VXUS. So from 2 moves, from 2 plays, you can literally be invested into every single company in the world. Wow. Now, is that not powerful? That's powerful right there.
That's major.
100%. 100%.
And you sit here talking about stock because I have a meeting on Friday with he teach financial literacy, and a conversation that we're having is I am starting my kindergartners off with learning about stocks and bonds, and about listen, kindergarten. my babies will be millionaires. So I just believe in it so much that I'm willing to spend the money and pour in them at a young age. If they could sing a full song with all the lyrics and not miss one word, they can learn about financial literacy. They can learn about stocks and bonds.
Good stuff.
So we're having this meeting as you were just talking, and it's just it wows me because, you know, we think of the generations that our parents did not know this information because when Bitcoin was a little coin.
A little coin.
A little coin. Built all the way up there, but think about it. And my broker told me one of the things that my broker, Dr. Karen, says to me all the time. She says, Dr. Storm, take the risk.
Yeah.
And I love her for that, for the simple fact of it's about a risk. Financial literacy, everything is about a risk.
It is.
Yeah. And when you think of the importance of $1, when you think of the importance of saving, Robert Kiyosaki would tell you all the time, he takes many risks. And he's talking about a man that is extremely rich. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about stocks and bonds, and when you just drop these two gems, like that's huge, because usually we don't talk about this.
Yeah.
And if it's not about the latest fashion, a lot of people want to take interest in this topic because everything is microwave. Everybody want it like this.
Yeah.
We want it now.
They want it now.
But when you sit back and you see the Bitcoin, remember, Bitcoin was a little coin at once.
Yep.
Now Bitcoin, I mean, I remember my dad said that he wished that he would have invested during that time, and someone told him to. But you just have to, as the Bible tells you, you got to see it before you see it.
Come on now.
Lean not on your own understanding.
Yes, I'm with you right there, for real.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to, you don't want to invest any money that you need or that you're not afraid to lose. So that's why I think it's smart to put in, okay, maybe 5%, 10%, whatever you don't really need or whatever you can lose, you're okay with losing. That's what I would invest into, a riskier asset like Bitcoin.
But don't we lose every time we pay our rent?
We surely do.
I mean, it gives you a roof.
I was just about to say that roof over your head.
It gives you a roof over your head. Yeah. But every time you pay your rent, you losing.
You're losing.
Yeah, you paying somebody else. You contributing to somebody else's generational wealth. Yes, Correct. That is true. And I'm actually in the process of becoming a first-time home buyer, so I'm looking into that.
Come on now.
Thank you. I'm looking at these first-time home buyer. I'm out in Boynton, but I'm looking.
You just got your realtor.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Because I'm looking, but I'm looking in Fort Lauderdale area because it's a little too expensive up here.
We got you. We got
Dr.
you.
Storm, the realtor.
We got you.
I would admit
Hassan, I said you heard for sure, so you can get that going, bro. Like I got listen.
Need to.
We got some things brewing.
But what I was gonna say about that is I don't know if I'm going to buy the property and live in it and then rent out some rooms, or if I should buy the property, rent out the entire home, and then go rent an apartment. Because being honest, I ain't got no kids, I ain't got no wife. I don't need no big family home right now. But I do want to participate in building that generational wealth. I've built up the knowledge. I have a good paying job now, which I've never had in my life before. I have a good paying job now, so I'm able to actually save money for a home. And I feel like, hey, if I go ahead and, Tamarack, I was at the first time home buyers workshop in Tamarack. They giving away up to $60,000 in down payment assistance.
Now, if you do buy the house and you use the FHA, you have to, you do have to. Listen, I'm thinking about.
We think about medical.
You do have to stay physically in the property, but we'll talk about it. But I would say this: when it comes to if you want to do something smart, I like the fact that you said buy the home, stay in the home, and then have your family to kind of help you out with that, with the mortgage. Because if you think about it, it's like a system. When you think about a legacy system,
correct.
You be the first person to buy the home. and then you have your families to come live with you. Now this home is paid off. Now the second person buy the home. So now you guys are duplicating homes within your legacy, within your family. So it's one of those things where you're helping each other to hurry up and pay off a mortgage. So now as me and Ashley as sisters, and I say, you know what, I got the credit, I got the money, let me buy the home. Let's just bump up in here. In 2 years, home is paid off. Okay, Ash, now you go buy the home. Correct. It's vice versa. And when you think about your lineage and when you think about your legacy, that's what you call a legacy. Correct. That's what you call leaving generational wealth to your kids and generational wealth inside the family. When you're buying and purchasing homes, listen, the one thing God is not making no more of is land.
That land, yup.
It's that land.
Only in like the Orlando area, like there's a lot of land.
Or you can buy a duplex. They can buy a duplex.
Yeah, the duplex is another good move.
Duplex is another good move. Live in one, rent out the other. I told my mom, listen, this is what you're going to do. And
Come
she
on
has
now.
no option. And she has a condo. So when we purchased the condo, I told her just live in it for 2 to 3 years. And then once we make the 3-year mark, then we'll actually rent that out and buy something else. And now that becomes your retirement plan. Correct.
That's nice. Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, I like how you think. I like how you think.
It's the reason why this woman got me on this podcast.
So much knowledge. And to me, I just think when it comes to like financial literacy, it's literally just being prepared for today, but also it's kind of more of like being like having fun today, but being prepared for tomorrow. That's kind of how I look at financial literacy, because everybody will tell you, okay, save 70% of your income, save 80% of this. And you just like, why? Like, why? But you have to look at it and be like, hey, I want to live today. I want to be lit today. I want to have fun today, but I still want to be prepared for tomorrow, because it's about longevity. It's about sustainability. When it was 2020 and I was grinding, trying to build FY Fly, trying to build my business, trying to write these books, and I had my head down, and then I would look up at my phone and I see the friends and Turks and Caicos, and I see them in Dominican Republic. Because keep in mind, 2021, 2022, you know, it was PPP loans. You had the stimulus popping. You had all these different things. So everybody's traveling. But then you look up 2023, 2024, and them same people aren't traveling anymore. Them same people that was lit for those 1 or 2 years, they're not lit anymore. So it's not about being lit for 1 year. It's about being turned forever. It's about being able to sustain whatever your lifestyle is forever, instead of being just lit for 1 or 2 years.
Correct. Because you got to plan for today, live for today. But also, I always say you will get old by God's grace. And when you think about your retirement, I mean, we're in our 30s. And when we went through Monopoly was one of those things that really opened up my eyes to retirement. Because if you take what you have in your retirement now and divide it by how many, I mean, what you want to live off of for X amount of years, a lot of people going back to work in 5 years. So when you think about financial, when you think about property, your best investment, even if you don't have a good credit score, listen, instead of putting your money into clothes and the latest new trend, save your money, put it into some property. Even if you purchase a small land, put it in something that's going to bring you revenue over the years. And that's what it's about. Because you want to be able to pass it down. Everybody's talking about leaving their kids a legacy, but how are you really leaving that? Good question.
Come on. But you gotta go ahead.
No, what you said, you gotta what?
I was just gonna say you gotta have some type of balance with it, because you know, whenever you create that budget, a lot of people feel like a budget is like the B word. You gotta back up off of it. It's like something negative, but a budget is literally just a spending plan. So you gotta put your fun into your budget. You gotta put your shopping into your budget, because we know we're gonna do these things. So let's put them into our budget. And I'll give y'all 2 budgeting systems, because like I said, this is the making and managing money portion of the show. So the first budget system that I'll give everybody, this is best if you've never created a budget before, if you've just starting and you want to find a way to manage your money so you know at the end of the month you have money to pay the bills, you have money to go out and have fun with your friends, you're not, living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
The 50-30-20 rule. 50-30-20 rule. So the 50% is, and how I like to budget, I budget every time I get paid. So I get paid twice a month. So that's when I'm budgeting and creating my spending plan.
Right.
So boom, let's just use easy numbers. Right. We have $1,000. 50% of that $1,000 should go to your wants. So to your needs. $500 should go to the needs where you need your transportation, your clothing, because you got to have some clothes. Not saying the newest J's, but you got to have some. Everything that you need to live. Your bills, your rent, all those different things. Next is 30%, and that should be for your wants. Dave, you've talked about it. You talked about another, financial guru, but there's another one that is a little controversial. Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey has said that the only time that you should be inside of a restaurant is if you're working there. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm a foodie. I like to eat good food. So, Dave, you gonna miss me on that one, brother.
Right.
So I put my spending food budget into my budget because I know I'm going to eat out. It's going to happen. I like good food. So I put that into my budget. So whatever you like to do, whatever makes you happy, put that into your budget. Right. So if we're using $1,000, boom, that's $300 that you can spend freely on whatever you want. And then that last 20% is for saving and investing and debt pay down. So you have to look at it. Which one should you be doing? Me personally, I'm going to tell you first, you need to build an emergency fund. You need to protect yourself before you go to pay your debt, pay your creditors, pay anybody else, pay yourself. Make sure that you're good because it's really not a matter of if an emergency will happen. It's really when that unexpected event will happen. So make sure that you have some money that you can have to fall back on whenever that unexpected event happens. So I would start with the savings fund, an emergency fund, and then I would look into paying down debt because especially if you have high interest debt and it's taken away a lot of your money, I would definitely pay down that debt and then you start investing. Then you start putting money to work for you because while we're out here going hard, while we're working and grinding and on podcasts and public speaking, make sure that your money is working as hard as you by investing it, putting it in vehicles that will make you more money. So that 50, 30, 20, 50% for your needs, 30% for your wants, and 20% for saving, debt pay down, and investing. So I think that's a great way for anybody to get started when it comes to saving, investing, and actually having a budget, just a spending plan. Because and it brought to my head when you were like, instead of buying that new clothes, this and that, then I looked at y'all clothes, then I looked at my clothes. I'm like, we look too good. We on here dripping too hard to tell them not to buy no new clothes. We came on here,
but you know what? Monopoly has told us. What is if you don't have $1,000 in your bank account, you ain't buying nothing.
Nothing. Also, thank you for Monopoly. That's a life changer, man. I look at my account, I wake up happy.
Yes. I call a budget. I always say budget is blessings because when you need to go inside of it and it's there, you say, Lord, thank you for the blessings.
Yes. Like, won't he do it?
Awesome. This is awesome.
This is some good stuff, Hassan. Like, what I'm going to do, I want to also, before we get ready to conclude, I want to touch on just some podcasts that, like, you recommend. Of course, yours is number one. We always recommend as far as just financial literacy.
Yes.
Can you just tell them your podcast, the name of it, how they can actually listen in and tune in?
For sure. So our podcast is called FYI.
I think he froze a little bit.
Hassan, there you go. Hassan, did you catch what I was saying?
Yeah, I got you. All right, so
there we go.
All right. So the podcast, you can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to major podcasts. It is FYI Fly. What it stands for is for your information. financial literacy and investing. But it's an I instead of the Y. I'm a guy who likes wordplay, so it's an I instead of the Y. For your information, financial literacy and investing. We interview entrepreneurs, educators, entertainers, pretty much talk to anybody that's doing some great things in this world right now. Because what I've realized is I can talk to anybody about money, because even though it may not be our top reason, we're doing whatever we're doing to make money, to have money, to be able to take care of our families, to take care of us, to reach our goals. So money is involved. So I'm able to pretty much talk to anybody on the podcast. So we've interviewed independent artists, entertainers, NFL athletes, educators, entrepreneurs. We release episodes every single Friday, FinLit Friday, as we like to call it. So you can definitely check us out on all platforms. You know it. You know it.
And then another podcast we also like to listen to is Trapping Tuesdays with the Wall Street Trapper. He gives
that's that guy.
Listen, he is that guy. Like I think he drops something probably like every day or every other day.
Yeah.
I believe
he dropping some gems.
He be dropping some
I listen to a lot of Gary V. I don't know if y'all heard of him.
Gary V.
I have.
Yes, I listen to a lot of Gary V. He's a very passionate, very energetic entrepreneur, but he has the receipts to prove it. He drops great game. He's very humble, very he's a big believer in empathy, and that has helped me become a better podcaster, being able to empathize with my guests, with the people I'm talking to. So I think empathy is something that a lot of, I know this is encouraging women, but a lot of men, they need to work on empathy. So that's something that I've worked on myself. You both of y'all was like, yeah, that's true.
No, listen, we for the men too now.
We here for y'all. I promise while he speaks today.
Correct.
Come on.
Another one that I want to kind of plug in, Neil Davis. He's one of my favorite. He's based out of. He was in what?
He was in Philly, but I don't know if he's still in Philly or if he's in Atlanta. I don't know.
He has like we were talking about earlier about just different platforms and how to make money. Mm-hmm. This man has created platforms between event spaces to how to make t-shirts to vending, and then he connects all of his buddies on it as well. So everybody eating. So that's what I love most about Neil Davis. Those are like the key guys that I and Dr. Storm tune into.
You got to tap in with that Social Proof podcast. You got to tap in with the Social Proof with David Shams and Donnie Wiggins. Yeah, they have.
And last but not least, you gotta tap into Dr. Darius Daniels.
Come on, listen, Hassan, your sister gonna put you on.
Darius Daniels.
Well, he's not doctor yet. He's in school right now. But
we gonna speak faith. We gonna speak it with faith, though.
The Bible.
Come on, now.
No, for real. Darius Daniels is another one. Change Church. I don't know if you guys know about him in Atlanta. He's one of our all-time favorite. We don't make it to church. We tuned in to Change on YouTube. So Change Church in Atlanta. Yes. He's teaching on right now about red flags.
Red flags.
And let me tell you, the 6 traits of a toxic person. I'm telling y'all, if you don't tune in to any other, tune in to Darius Daniels.
Let me tell you, if Dr. Darius, and we're going to close with this. What touched me about his previous sermon, when he talked about red flags, he said, we were born looking like our parents.
Come on now.
But we die looking like our decisions.
Mm-hmm. That's facts.
It's not posted on my page, y'all. Y'all got to reshare that. That was like and I was like, ooh, I thought about the people that have passed in recent events. And it's like, ooh, yeah, those decisions. Like, I mean.
I got to plug in one more church podcast. Transformation Church, Mike Todd. I'm a huge Mike Todd fan. I definitely be listening and tapping in with Transformation Church. So that's also another one that y'all can check out too.
Oh man! And I look at the pastors we're talking about, and they're like that new generation that's taking over. Yeah. And that's like us. We're stepping up and doing what God has called us to do. So that's the big picture. Like you're doing what you have to do right now, Hassan, with literacy, financial literacy, teaching our kids, teaching the youth. And I mean, let me see this book, From College to COVID, to Recession. Yep. If y'all don't pick up a book this month, this is the book you guys need to pick up. with none other than Hassan Thomas. I need you guys to order right now on Amazon. Number one release. It's such a blessing. I remember when I first met you and I was just like, man, this man doing some things. Like I saw it as just an inspirational moment. Like I love to see our men doing things as opposed to just, doing a normal sports, not knocking it, but to really gain knowledge. Knowledge is something no one can take from you. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is key. So Hassan, we appreciate you.
You're doing great things. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Yes.
Your favorite only relative.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hey, I appreciate it. You all are great. Y'all got a great flow together. I love what y'all doing, and thank you so much for being the second guy on the Encouraging Woman podcast. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you so much. It was an honor, man, just having you on. I kid you not, man. I look at his podcast, I'm like, man, my brother doing this thing. I just love it.
Gotta stay consistent with it.
I have to come talk to my baby.
You have to come to Red Learning.
You gotta come to Red Learning to talk to my baby. Yeah. Our theme for the lifespan of the school will be producers, creative producers versus consumers. So I'm all about financial literacy. So we will chat offline because I do need to come touch my babies. But we thank you so much. Yeah. This is good.
This is good, Hassan.
Thank you.
I love it. I hope I don't remember nothing else. I remember that you're a confident young man. I love it.
Hey, I hope my confidence rubbed off on everybody that's listening. I hope that y'all are able to take away something from this. That's all. And that's the last little piece. That's why I stopped being nervous to speak, because I realized it's not about me. It's about the audience taking away the lessons, the value that I've learned. And I know confidently that I can leave them with that lesson, with that value. So it's not, even if people on here that may be speaking and may be nervous, take the pressure off you and let it be known that it's about your audience. And if you have the information in your head and you're able to communicate it properly, you're good. If you get up there, you stumble a little bit, it don't matter. How I look at it as well, I'll tell you this, since you about to get that keynote. I did tell you, but I'll say it again on the podcast. When I was in school and I got a 92 on the exam, I was happy. So if I get a 92 on a speaking engagement, I done messed up 8 times, but I still get an A, and y'all leave knowing the message, I won. And y'all
Come
won.
On now.
So that's how I ended right there.
Listen, you make sure you purchase your
you gotta come by, son. You in town.
Sure.
I know it's Mother's Day. You might be going to see your mom, but definitely come to the engagement that we're having on May 11th.
Yes.
Most definitely.
I would love to see you in the building. Come shake your hand. Come see me.
What about some of your life? Tell them get in with me.
Come on.
Thank y'all.
I love it.
We appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see you guys on our next episode.
And thank you to our tech. She's the number one tech person in the United States of America.
You dig?
Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate the comments. Y'all know we got you guys, and we'll respond back.
Yes. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Night, guys. Bye.